What's up, guys? Welcome to the Bomb Squad. I'm director Andrew Hara. I hope you're on Screenbox watching my movie, The Empty Space, but if you're not, you're here. I'm here with my co-host Joshua Epp and also William Murdoch. Willie Murder. And today, it's our slasher week. We continue. And we're doing a William Murdoch pick for the loosest definition of the slasher.
This is more than
the slasher at all, really.
The Witch movie we just watched is less of a slasher than this.
Oh my god.
Suspiria's pretty slashery, right?
People's necks are getting slashed left and right.
It's mostly magic terror in that movie.
Well, yeah.
And barbed wire.
Magic slashing, yeah.
Yeah.
Two barbed wires.
This is just rowdy teens. Well, we'll get
there. We'll get there.
The barbed wired series that we're doing.
Yeah.
We're covering today's film, Eden Lake. More like Andy Baked, am I right?
Yes. Yeah, very much.
Thanks.
It's directed by James Watkins. He also wrote it. He also made that movie recently, Speak No Evil, with Michael Fassbender, which is good because they share similarities. It stars Kelly Riley, and it stars a Big D himself, Michael Fassbender. Of course, the great Jack O'Connell, who's the star of our favorite of Nick Mullen's Tigerland. If you've seen Nick Mullen's film Tigerland, Jack O'Connell plays what's supposed to be the lead.
That war movie? Like
no,
the Joel Schumacher movie?
It's like a boxing movie.
Oh no, I've never even heard of that.
No. Plays like a brother. Yeah,
I didn't know this guy did Speak No Evil. The James McAvoy is what you meant.
Yeah,
the remake.
Yeah,
they're both bad in the same way.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
But anyway, Joshua, since you don't want to stop talking, why don't you tell us? Why don't you take a dip in Eden Lake?
Two generic middle class liberal people from like Britain, from London, I think. They're like, oh,
some kind of city.
Let's take a spot of the country and go to the Eden Lake. That's where I'm not going to try to do the accent.
That's where I live.
You had it going. You had it going.
Fassbender is Irish, not English.
Oi, governor.
So. Yeah.
Let's take a dip in the Eden Lake.
But he's like, hey, I remembered
spot of violence.
This lake was pretty
our British
good.
audience has gone down to 0. We haven't even started.
Yeah.
Let's get them negative.
Continue, Josh.
And they're like, hey, this lake kind of sucks. There's a bunch of rowdy teens. And then they're like, wait a minute. These teens are sociopathic murderers. And that's the rest of the movie.
That's the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is...
a little running.
William, let me ask, before I ask you why you picked this movie, let me ask, are you in some kind of bet with the devil to torture us as much as humanly possible?
Okay, so because you always pick fucking bangers, are you joking me? Has anyone watched this podcast or seen like 80% of the movies that we watch?
That is true.
This is one of the
worst. What is this attack?
This movie is pretty
well
made.
Before we continue, let's find out.
I didn't think it was a total train.
Why did you pick it though? What like intrigued you? And I'll tell you why I wanted to see it too.
Honestly, I've just always heard about it, and everyone always puts it on lists of just like really feel bad, kind of like brutal movies. Yep. And I've had it on my computer like for so long, and so I've always kind of wanted to watch it. But every time I go to watch it, I just kind of like feel bad vibes, and so I've never actually put it on. So that's really the only reason. Like we were just trying to think of some slasher movies, and I was like, yeah, that one. So I hadn't really ever. It wasn't like on my top. Like I need to see this list, but I don't know. Just kind of felt like the right time.
But doesn't like, because I know it's the same thing. This is always like these movies will make you feel terrible. You'll want to die after. It's like
it's so notorious.
Doesn't that being on the list spoil what it's about? And then so your attention's just like
for sure.
Okay, I know where this is going. You know,
I'll say like I want to see this for two reasons. Because like William says, this movie's like pretty highly regarded. It wasn't like a huge hit. It kind of like went straight to DVD at the time. But it's been highly regarded. Like people talk about it in like the same vein as like Martyrs or like Audition, you know. And I love Audition.
Right.
And also like our friend Kristen Granados, who did the makeup on Last Days, this is like one of her favorite movies. She like lent me this movie a million years ago, and I never watched it. So I was like, oh yeah, let's check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah. But so, what did you guys think of this movie?
I mean, that's like, I would say that I knew it was going to be a torture porn kind of thing, and I was honestly glad that it didn't have that much torture porn, and I didn't really know where the movie was going to go the whole time, and so I would say when it was over, I was definitely like, I just finished this like 30 minutes ago, like around like 6 is when it ended.
Yeah,
and I was just like, wow, that was like, fuck.
Yeah,
I don't like it's okay because
So I would say it was like not sorry. I
no, go ahead.
thought it was going to be way crazier than it was, and I was glad it wasn't.
Yeah,
Honestly, I feel like it was like pretty effective. I'm not sure if it's like a total diss on the working class in Britain,
yeah.
which is what some people were saying, which is potential. But I liked it more than I thought I was going to overall.
See, I kind of agree with the kind of diss on the middle for the ending, and I guess we'll get to it and we'll talk about it more.
Yeah.
But also, I think it's like one of those things where I don't know. Speak No Evil is kind of similar. So Speak No Evil is a movie about like a family, and there's like weird stuff, and they can't like leave because the other family's like polite. Like those movies don't work on me because I would never be in that situation, you know, where it's like there's like a scene kind of early on. Oh, like so the family there are like Michael Fassbender and Kelly Riley. They're like a couple. They're going to the beach. Like it's a weekend away, and they're like having fun. And then like these kids are playing too loud and they're kind of being super rude. And so then they like go swimming and they get back and they like steal their Jeep. And so they're looking for it, and then the kids like almost run them over with the Jeep, and then they kind of get out and they fight, and then Michael Fassbender accidentally kills the kid's dog, and then they're like still fighting, and then like Michael Fassbender's like, "Oh, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean." I was like, "Listen, man, if you stole my Jeep and try to like run me over with my car, the next interaction we're gonna have, if possible, is gonna be with my Jeep and you. Like, I'm not gonna like give you a second chance." And this movie like kind of keeps doing it, and I never felt sorry for the murderers, and I kept kind of wanting me to, you know?
Yeah, because it does this like, and I mean, we don't even need to go tit for tat because it's basically like once
real fast, I forgot to say who the killers are. Josh, will you kind of like just add that?
Sorry, Josh, you're never gonna get to talk.
14-year-old
Me and Andrew will steamroll you.
Or you mean like the names of them?
No, just that like they're kids. I forgot to say that. So yeah, they're kids. Go ahead.
Yeah.
They're kids from like the sticks, kind of, and their parents abuse them. Like, parents, hit them.
The parents like hit them in the opening scene, and like near the end of the movie, the parents are like, "Oh," and then it's supposed to be one of those like, "Oh, violence perpetuates generational," but like, and keep in mind too, I'm not, none of us are experts on Britain. Maybe Andrew is
totally,
but this feels very
Cheerio.
like the way this movie portrays like white trash people is like the way like Fox News talks about like the knockout game here, and it's like this movie if it were made in America would be about 15-year-old black kids playing the knockout game and being like insane monsters that like terrorize like the middle class, and it's like you know what I mean, like it's
this came out like around like a time that I was like, another reason I'm kind of interested in this like was the hoodie culture thing. Like, do you guys know about that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, that movie Harry Brown is kind of like about that. Like,
the movie.
I don't really know much about it, but it's kind of like interesting. And so,
but it's
like, I guess this is like the breaking of Britain was like a big conservative talking point around this time.
It's the moral panic, but it's also like I've seen like if you see like British, like a lot of like British comedies around this time too, like the Inbetweeners or like Peep Show is also kind of around this time. It's like.
Buzz has some elements too.
They'll use like the ruffian hoodies, but it's like they're just kids. I mean, they're probably bad kids, but they're kids. In this movie, they're literally like lighting people on fire and laughing about like it's like they're like the 80s,
not all of them.
The 80s movie Bully, but like play totally straight. Like there's like it's I don't know. It's just like a dumb moral panic.
And then I think
I
think it would have worked better because like immediately after that. Michael Fassbender somehow they get back into the Jeep and then they're driving, but then they're like driving like stupidly.
They're driving.
And
They're in the
also-
middle of a forest. They're not even on a
Yeah.
road. They're like
Yeah.
they're driving through trees. Like they were
And-
gonna crash.
Yeah, and then there are other people are like following them on bikes, and it's like you can take your time. They're on bikes and they're driving the same terrain as you. But like I think to me
Yeah.
that's another problem is that it's a lot of conveniences, you know, like where it's like you'd have to kind of act dumb to do like at one point they break into someone's house and they realize it's the teen's dad's house. And so they're sneaking out and it's like, why did you even try to do that? Like what is going-
Why'd you break into
Right.
this house
It's-
at all?
It's almost like in a lot of ways it's similar to Funny Games, but like with no one pointing to the camera and winking and stuff. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what like and I'm not going to give any credit to Funny Games because I hate that movie, but it like
Yeah.
in that movie it's like, oh, it's contrived, and they point to that it's a contrived stupid horror movie. In this one it's contrived, but it's just that's the movie. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like
and
the
then-
same
Yeah.
contrivance without the wink, basically.
And I think it's a little disappointing because I mean, I don't even have to say that the acting is good because all of these actors like went on to do really good things. you
yeah,
know? Like
right.
even
incredible
Jack
cast.
O'Connell.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like and so like then so Michael Fassbender gets stuck and he's like, leave me. And then they like tie him up and they have him all barbed wired, but like the leap is so far. Like it's like, oh, so they're like chasing him, they stole his car, and now they're like they have him change. It's like he's like an assault trap. And then
Yeah.
they're all
It's like it's extremely brutal. Like when
Yeah.
you first see him,
It's
like
such a
you see him from a
hard
distance,
shift.
just like up
Yeah.
against like a stump, just like
yeah.
dog collared,
it's-
barbed wired. You're just like, what? It's like that
Yeah.
scene in Saw, like the remake of Saw, whenever they like are just like not Saw of It, whenever they're just about to like cut like the kid's name into his stomach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? It's
Oh
just
yeah.
like you're just like, what? Like
Yeah.
where did this come from? And like in It, it's kind of like heightened and like
Yeah.
kind of like
Like the
silly
evil
sort
of
of
the town. Yeah.
right.
But-
But in this one, it is just like I would say it was scary, but it was like I'm now a little bit out of the realm of like this is a total societal indictment.
yeah,
I think
and
it
I-
loses some credibility
Right.
if it's trying to
They
say something
become
about
the
world.
strangers, basically. Like
Yeah.
the rest of the movie
Yeah.
is the
And see-
strangers. yeah.
I think it's the thing where like if it wasn't so extreme, it's just like you know, I think of that American Dad episode where they take over Disneyland and like they're gonna fight all the wars and Stan is like they're like, Stan, do you think we have a good chance? And he's like, well, we're full grown adults and they're an army of children, so I think we got a pretty good shot. It's like
Yeah.
it's very hard for me to like believe and like so they're torturing Michael Fassbender and then like they find out that the girl's like Bluetooth turns on so they know she's kind of close
Yeah.
and then she just stands straight up like and
Yeah, I
it's
couldn't
like,
tell if she
why-
did it on purpose or not.
Yeah.
Like, was
I
she
think
trying
it's
to like
just
get their
the
attention?
panic. Yeah. I think
But
Or yeah, was
see,
she just tripping?
yeah and it's such a weird and then like I did you know I mean I didn't like this movie overall but I like that she does try to come back and save Michael Fassbender. I mean it's kind of pointless and you almost want her to leave him behind because it's like he's not gonna make it, you know. But like I
Yeah.
like that like in this movie, like in so many other horror movies, the girlfriend forgets about the boyfriend like way too fast, you know.
right.
Right.
And I think
right.
that kind of like I wish I had kind of leaned more into that, like the kind of desperation of it, as opposed to like because to me like that makes it scarier, like trying to hold up your boyfriend when he's clearly like fading, you know, and you can't do anything really. Like
Yeah.
the brutality is already there. You don't have to do like like fucking soul traps, you know.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's more and I do think it's funny too because they literally had in this happens in a lot of movies, I'm sure. But The Strangers is the other one I thought of because it's the like, oh no, he had an engagement ring. It's extra sad, you
Right.
know. And it's
Right.
just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
one of those things. And
Yeah.
again, it's 13-year-olds chasing them, so you're just like, all right. I mean, just punch one of them really hard.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, they do have weapons. They do have
Yeah.
weapons.
Yeah,
They do.
And I will say that like I have met some pretty scary middle schoolers that
And
like
that is true.
will fuck you up.
That is true. You
if
have
they had
been in
the
the
chance. And there's a
trenches.
group of them.
but
yeah.
it's also
I
like
mean, I would say like the extreme violence. Actually, I would like to say
oh yeah.
it's not too far off. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that they're going to be wrapping people around a stump, but like getting attacked by these kids, I think would be pretty scary.
See, and
It would
like,
be harrowing.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, that's all I
Oh.
got.
But,
I
but
think
it would
what
almost like
needed
oh, go
was
ahead.
they
Sorry.
needed that scene where the kids are like overwhelming someone, whether it was Michael Fassbender or the girl, or like you needed that. So you like, because it is that thing where like, yeah, you see him as a kid and you're like, yeah, I could beat this kid up, but you have like 3 or 4, like there's like 6 of them, and they're all like 15. So it's like that can like that's like you can that's a threat, but like they never take advantage of the fact that there's more of them. At least not in the film. Like they'll always jump past that part, and I wish like at least once they had shown it, you know.
Yeah,
Kind of like they do at the end, like where she's like at the end she's surrounded. We won't spoil it yet, but she's surrounded by someone, and it's like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean they kind of do it whenever they kill the dog, but they run away, so they never like surround them. But it's like when they're throwing all the rocks at the car and stuff. I would say that was like pretty.
I wanted them to be like to lift Michael Fassbender up, and he's like, nah.
Oh yeah, and like carry him away with like a bonfire in the background.
Yeah, like almost
cool.
go more campy, or like go more
like
yeah.
Show them like putting him up against the stump. Like what was the conversation that led them to
that's
getting him like how did that Brett kid convince those kids to actually do that? That would have been interesting.
Every scene before the tying him up with like barbed wire scene is like oh, this is like they're annoying kids, but he's also escalating because he won't back down. And it could almost be like one of those like, oh, an accident causes them to like cripple him in some fucked up way where they're like, oh no, now we have to like something like that. But instead it's literally like, nope, we're going to torture him to death. Like not even just, we have to kill him. Like, no, we have to like do crazy torture to him. Like it's just kind of nothing. I don't know. And then like she finds like a little Indian kid, and he's like gonna help her.
And and that's like, I don't know. It's a thing like that. That kind of like makes my, and it's gonna depend on how much your suspension of disbelief can be held. Because like, so she meets like this kid, and he's like, oh, I can take you out of the forest, and she's like, okay, and then he kind of starts leading her kind of more into the forest, but you can see the out of it, and she's like, are you sure this is it? And he's like, yeah, and he's like playing on his phone, and it's getting weirder. And the other kids show up, and they're like, okay, thanks for leading them to us. And then they like tie her up, and they make that little kid set her on fire. And then she manages to like maneuver so that the fire like burns through her ropes. She gets away, and then they set the kid on fire. And like, I understand, but like, he just tried to set you on fire. I wouldn't feel that bad for him. Like,
right. They yell out like, if you don't come back, we're gonna burn.
It's like, well, you're obviously gonna kill me. Kid. Like, I don't, you know, it's just such a like.
It's like they were just gonna kill anybody anyway.
And I think it's just like you know, we all, you know, America's a bad place, right? We all live pretty adjacent. You could drive an hour, and you're gonna be in a bad town. Like I don't know.
Sure.
If I go to Gresham, if Andrew goes to Horizon City or something, it's like, will I get stabbed by a fentanyl addict? Maybe. Will they like truss me up on a saw trap and try to cut out my tongue and burn me alive? Probably not. Like that's just.
But their kids might.
Right. Yeah, maybe that.
Their neglected children absolutely will.
But like, it's like, but it's not like Texas Chainsaw is like such a both heightened sense of reality of like, here's like the psychotic evil working in the backwoods, but this is like almost too realistic to feel that until they do something silly, and then it just kind of breaks your like disbelief. You know what I mean? Like it never squares that. Yeah.
I think it's like that thing where the reason I like Audition is because everyone's smart in Audition. You know, like they make moves where like they'll do a dumb move sometimes, but it's because they're in pain or something. You know.
Right. Yeah. It tracks. It like tracks with the tone of the film. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this movie, like, it's hard because it makes it less scary. But then there's moments where everything works, and you're kind of like, I wish you went one way or the other, but you're kind of like dangling back and forth, and it's like it's hard to know what you're trying to get to.
And it's not really,
you can't do extreme horror as like a metaphor for something unless it's like all metaphor.
You go all like, can't. Don't be like don't halfway it, like don't blink or blink twice or whatever. It was kind of like that. It's like you want this to be realistic and crazy, and just the two don't mesh.
Don't blink twice while drinking your juice in the hood.
Yeah, that should be
that movie,
the parody.
Well, enjoying the beach with the hoodies.
But like because one of the other a good feel bad, I thought it was funny. movie that we watched, I Saw the Devil. That movie's like
yeah.
that movie's like a spectacle. Like it's like
Right.
bananas. Like even if you're
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
feel bad at the end, you're like, oh man, this
It's
is
a
a
ride.
ride. Whereas this is
Yeah.
just like a drama where something horrific happens every 10 minutes.
Right.
And-
Like something like Martyrs is like, you watch Martyrs and it's like totally fucked up, but it's like not about anything real. And so it's
Right.
like you have that part of you that can
Yeah,
like
it's so insane.
kind of laugh at it. Yeah, you're just like, oh my God, this is insane. And like you might feel bad or like freaked out, but it's like you know that there's nothing at the end of this hallway. Like it's
Yeah.
fine.
Right.
And this one's like, yeah, just trying to be like, so like these neglected kids, they're abused and like this is what
Yeah.
could happen. But it's
Yeah.
just like, so it takes away your
It's-
ability to like laugh, but you're also in a situation that can never happen. So it's like you said, we don't know much about Britain. We don't know if these kids were really that bad, but I assume they probably aren't. And so
Like,
it's just
there's
like,
no way
Right.
they're that bad. I mean, I
right,
think even
like maybe one case, maybe like one case.
there was almost
you know?
like, because that was the subversion, like Hot Fuzz or in that movie where John Boyega like fights aliens. That's like this. It's like
Attack the Block.
like the hoodies are bad kids, but they're not like you know, in the end they're good. You know, something like that. It's
Yeah.
like-
Yeah,
and that almost felt like the culture pushing back to be like, hey, conservatism,
chill
you
out.
can't like demonize an entire group of people, you know, which
Right.
you know, again, watching this in 2025 where conservatives demonize like
Exactly.
the most
man.
marginalized
Prescient, yeah.
people. It's like, why do I want to watch more of this garbage propaganda?
I
You
know.
know? I don't know.
And
It just
I-
pissed me
I-
off.
I think you know, we have to spoil the ending a little bit, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
I mean, you know what the
Yeah.
ending is because we call it a feel bad movie.
yeah.
They
Well,
catch her
not
and she
that.
dies.
It's more so like, okay, at the end, she gets to the house and then like she passes out and then they're like, oh, we can help you, and then
yeah.
she realizes
she
Oh,
gets
go
into a van that's driven by like
the brother.
the kid. There's a van that comes by. She
Yeah.
finally gets to the forest, and it's like driven by the older brother of the kids that are trying to kill her. And he's like, I can't go yet. My kid's brother's out there. I gotta go rescue him.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, just go. And then she escapes, and then she crashes literally into the parents' house
Yeah.
backyard. in
And
the van.
so then they're like, okay, they call the cops and they're like, we're not calling the cops. And it's like, hey, again, like I don't know why she crashes again. It's like, can they drive? Like, what's going on?
It's like it's one more coincidence that you were talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
it's
a
one-
car
it's
pulls
one
out in front of
more-
her. Yeah, it's just
Right.
it's one of those like it just happened.
Yeah.
And then yeah, she's like they're like taking care of her on the couch, and then she realizes, oh no, it's their parents, and then
And
They're
then
like,
they
Yeah,
get home.
she sees the same dog, and it's apparently the dog's
it's like
Brother.
sister, brother, whatever.
So there's
Yeah.
like a Bonnie. Bonnie was the dog that died in the forest, and so you see Bonnie's dog bowl and
Oh,
one
yeah.
that says Clyde, and so
Right.
you're like, oh my God, this is obviously the family. There's another Doberman, and
Yeah.
then she sees all the pictures on the wall of like the kids that have just been chasing her. And they had at the very beginning of the movie, they have an altercation where they go to a diner, and Michael Fassbender's like, waitress, there's these kids on bikes that are like terrorizing us, and they're awful kids. And
Yeah.
the waitress is like, oh yeah, those kids? That's my kid. So fuck off, Fassbender. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh shit. And then you see that lady in the house, and you're just like, oh man, this is fucked up for Kelly Riley. She's
It is
done.
very funny
Yeah.
because they're like, oh, by the way, that guy earlier, that kind of dickish middle class like guy from the city, he burned some of our friends alive, killed our he did all this crazy stuff. You know? It's just
Yeah.
Right.
like him and
And-
his wife came out here to murder children.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Do you believe us?
And I think that's why, like, it's almost like I don't understand if the writer didn't see what he was in, because like up until that point, it's like I thought it was a movie about how parents don't know what their kids are up to, you know. Like
yeah,
that
I mean,
was,
it is, for sure.
but like then by the end of it, it's like, oh no, this is just how like all poor people are savages, like,
Right. They're like, let's
I
kill
know,
her
I
and
know,
hide it.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just
Right.
like-
And I don't
Because
think
that's what they
that-
do, and it's horrifying. But
Yeah.
oh, what were you gonna say?
Oh, and I don't know if like that was like unintentional or if it was intentional or like maybe the guy just didn't really like he just needed an ending and he didn't really know what to do, you know? All those
Yeah,
options make sense to me, but like none of them are good for like the end
yeah,
of it,
it just it just
Right,
doesn't
right.
yeah, it doesn't go off. Again, like in the In-Betweeners or something, the bad kids who steal a cell phone, I don't see them being one bad day away from then lighting him on fire. You know, it's
Right.
just I don't know.
Dude,
It just It's
like
just
they'd be as bad. Like, what was that kid in the In-Betweeners? That's like the bratty one.
Yeah,
They go to the caravan party, and his
Yeah.
dad's kind of an alcoholic.
yeah.
Like I feel like this movie is really about these people, and they are
Yeah.
probably way more realistically
What's-
portrayed in the In-Betweeners.
What's funny
Yeah.
is because he Fassbender was totally in like this no budget. I can't even remember the name, but where he basically is like an Irish criminal living in like a caravan with like just other kind of like no money criminal families.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like
What is
really
that?
realistic, and it's like, yeah, they're bad and they steal stuff, and like he's gonna go back to jail and stuff, but it's like realistic, and I mean it's kind of like boringly realistic where you're like, yeah, their lives seem bad. What are you gonna do? But it's like, again,
Right. They're disenfranchised.
it feels authentic, not, oh, by the way, we caught a couple and stabbed them to
Yeah.
death and gouged out their
Yeah.
tongues, and like it's just
and it was a Thursday. Yeah.
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 And see, I think overall the movie's going to depend on how much you believe those stories about the hoodies and like how dangerous they
Yeah.
are.
It depends
This
on
This is a
how
horror film for Southern grandmas.
I would say racist,
Yeah.
but how classist you are, I guess, for
Yeah.
in the terms
Right.
of
And
Britain.
see,
But
and
yeah.
I don't know, because like, yeah, I think it's that thing where some people watch movies and they don't like really like think about the implications. Like, oh, it is scary to be cut up by barbed wire and then like a group of people stab you, but like, how did you get there? Like, let's go through
Right,
the process, And I think
Yeah.
if you're not watching it in that sense, and I could see it being scary because the performances are great. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
The
Filmmaking's great. The way it's
effects
tense
are
is
like,
tense.
yeah,
Yeah.
the effects are like brutal,
Yeah.
but also it
The
does
makeup
that,
on Kelly Riley's makeup was incredible.
yeah,
Like she gets like just more and more gross as like
Yeah.
she becomes more and more savage.
which makes me wish, like, man, I would really wish she was fighting deadites or something cool,
Right, like
Yeah.
just have the like if the family was it, or even like the strangers where there's just no motive, they're just faceless,
Yeah.
like people, or
Yeah.
or like an evil cult, just like go wacky, don't be grounded,
Yeah.
and
Right.
this bad, but
Yeah,
Whoever you make this savage is going to be the enemy to society.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like if you're going to make a movie that's actually about a group of people that actually exist in the real world doing something this horrific, I mean, that's what more of a line in the sand can you draw? Like
yeah,
that's a tricky thing in a movie.
yeah.
As I think we're talking about. It's kind of weird.
yeah, no,
No,
I
I
don't care
agree.
for it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I did like I did like the look and everything. But yeah, I mean, it's tough because I know that like I said, a lot of people like this movie. I was like,
Yeah.
it was that same thing where I kind of knew it was gonna be brutal, so I kept putting it off because like I'll watch brutal stuff, but I have to be like really in the mood for it. So
Yeah, and I
glad
almost
we got to
feel
see
again
it,
like
you know?
knowing it's a feel bad thing. It's like everyone knows that now, so you're already
Yeah.
gonna know like, oh, this won't be like. So you're not even surprised by it. You're just like, yep, more torture.
Right,
Everyone
right.
dies.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah.
So
but I think it's worth checking out just to see, especially to see Michael Fassbender in a very gory horror film.
Right. It is weird to see these like major stars in this like this kind of like messed up movie.
Yeah.
Like
this kind
Kelly
of
Riley's just
it's
like laying on the ground screaming.
like
and you're
it's
like,
like
what is this?
basically a Tubi
Yeah.
original, but not a good Tubi original,
Yeah.
like the Empty
Yeah.
Space. If you're going on Tubi, check out the Empty Space.
The Empty
Not
Space that is
Yeah.
to be original.
you know,
It's from Bayview Entertainment.
it's on Tubi.
And Nothing Ventured. Oh no, it's not. I think it's still from Andrew How to Film. Yeah.
Anyway,
The Hulu original.
But
yeah.
anyway, go watch The Empty Space. It's a very wacky movie. Just kidding. It's also serious. Good luck.
Woo.
Won't make you feel as bad as this one.
It has
Yeah.
Go check it out. Find out what kind of ending it has. But I think
Yeah.
I also like, I don't know. I always ask myself like, why are we watching this version of the movie? You know what I think is a good version of this movie is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Because it kind of does the same thing where it's like the whole town is involved, but they keep the
Yeah.
town small enough that it doesn't feel as obscure. And the town is like made up of a sheriff and then like two families. So it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Where
Yeah.
like
Right.
this one, it's like they have a whole like cult of people.
But
who are
then
just, like, really,
Yeah.
And-
like
and
a
they-
troop.
they still
Yeah,
like make the
something.
leap in that movie where it's like he is literally cutting up body parts for meat in his like murder butcher shop, whereas in this it's like,
Right.
oh, any lower class house where they make less than $30,000 a year, might like secretly being
They might put you in the
plotting your
bathroom and kill
murder.
you.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah. I mean,
Just
they're
very
You're
gonna
never
be
going to meet
whatever.
the Texas Chainsaw people on the street, but you will meet the hoodies on the
so
street.
go check
for
out
sure.
all 10 of our Texas Chainsaw reviews here. And I'm pointing to all 10 that Andrew's going to put in.
Did we do all 10? Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. Remember there was like the one where he's like live streaming murders.
Yeah, and there's going to be another one next year, guys. Saddle up. We're going back to Texas.
Hello.
Watch this one in a year.
I don't even know if there's
so you can
10,
be
but
excited.
it felt like there was 10 near the end.
But I think, would you guys recommend this movie at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting experience. I mean, it was effective with the filmmaking and everything, but it is, I don't know, it wasn't a very long discussion today, but I thought it was a pretty interesting one. And so, I don't know.
Yeah.
Watch it and see how you feel.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the mood to just feel bad and be like, oh yeah, conservative reactionaries are controlling the world right now. This is what it's like.
Yeah.
So if you want
that was a great description.
Drop
if you
$4
want
on
to
Prime.
slit your wrists because you realize that art is reflecting our shitty current culture.
Hey, Josh, True Anon is not this podcast, all right, buddy boy? Like, if you want to tell those capitalist pigs,
you get them, mother.
I won't talk to you.
I'm just saying, conservatives can make great art like a Zoller, but not this. This is not,
Like Zoller?
Yeah.
Is it
he's like a
Zahler?
libertarian, probably.
Honora?
S. Craig Zoller?
No. Craig
Oh,
Zoller.
Like Bone Tomahawk and
Dragged Across
Brawl and
Concrete.
Cell Block 99.
No, Dragged Across Concrete. We'll cover that one eventually.
I don't even know if James Watkins is a conservative, because what is it? Speak No Evil is like also kind of bad in this way, but it's just like sometimes strangers are crazy. It's like, okay, I don't know.
He just hates strangers.
I don't know what you want, man.
He's got to be conservative. He's xenophobic as hell.
And I think it's that thing where, like, I don't know, after a while, if it's not like my good friend, if it's just kind of an acquaintance, kind of walk away, you know? So, like, I'm never in that situation where I'm like, oh, I'm with a weird acquaintance and I can't get out of it. It's like, oh, I can get out of it.
I would like also
don't you worry.
Right.
The very first scene of like, hey, would you guys turn down the music? And they don't. And he's like, I'm gonna sit here anyway to spite them. It's like, I was like, we're not gonna fight these 13-year-olds. Let's just leave.
Yeah.
Like
Also,
this.
It's very funny that that's also the inciting incident of the Karate Kid. And I feel like if you're taking,
Karate Lake.
points from Karate Kid, you might be going the wrong way. Only one can be the Karate Kid. And by the end of that movie, you find out. But apparently now there's like 10 of them. But yeah, I think that was it. It was a good movie. Josh was like reading the Communist Manifesto when he gave his final thoughts. Damn, he's so proud of himself too. He didn't even
check it out.
He didn't even check it out, guys. That's our. It's gonna just say, "I'm gonna be like, check it out, guys. That's the communist." It's just gonna go like, "You've been blocked forever."
I know.
No.
Just yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, check
really
it out. We'll see what Josh picks. Now he's in the hot seat after just nonstop hating on everything that we've been watching. It's his turn.
Wrecking Ball, Miley Cyrus.
So you'll see us next week. It's called Our Revenge, the next episode. See you guys next time.
I do have some ideas. We'll see.